probably get a little more rest, we probably eat a little more calories, we probably train a little more than we should, because it's always a work in progress. I've never looked in the mirror and been 100% happy. And losing will do that to you. You lose enough shows, you get pissed, you're just never satisfied. Even when you win, you find things wrong, you gotta go back to the gym in order just to come back the following year. But I've always kind of felt like I overtrained. I trained twice a day, like Lee said. I did an hour and a half to his 15 minutes of cardio. And I just felt like I needed to be busy and active, or else I'm not doing the business. I mean, we grow when we rest and when we eat. That's when we grow. In the gym, we're tearing it down. So, you know, I'm doing more sets, I'm doing more reps, I'm drop setting, I'm supersetting. I mean, we're doing everything in excess. And by the time we get to the show, we're fatigued, we're definitely overtrained. I feel a lot better after a show, maybe a week. I start to put some more water on my body, a little bit more weight. The joints feel a lot better too. But I don't think I ever went a year in bodybuilding where I didn't feel like I was training in excess. I don't know. They're bigger bodybuilders, so they might have trained a little bit different. But for me, I felt I had to do more. I had to be crisper. I had to be more balanced. And so I worked from a more artistic standpoint. I had to be careful how much weight I put on the bar because I was afraid of injury. And you see these guys, they're just slapping the weight on the bars. Like, you know, Kevin's probably one of the stronger bodybuilders at this time, along with Ronnie Coleman. And Lee, you were no exception when it came down to weight, but you had broken your leg before playing football, right? I was never injured as a bodybuilder, but I was always cognizant of the fact that if I trained too heavy, I would get injured. So I compensated by training more volume. I trained faster. I wear you out doing volume training. So typically I overtrain a little bit.
I think as a bodybuilder, you do go through those experiences where, you know, you get in the gym sometimes and you can't bench press what you used to do last week. So yeah, I've definitely had my experiences of overtraining. But you know, it's called trial and error. That's when you're trying to find out what works for you. And as long as you adjust your nutritional program to the workload you're putting on your body, right, and get that proper amount of rest. But that's for you to decide. You know how your approach is in the gym. A lot of the articles you read about us in the magazines, those are just basic out guidelines. You know, like I would look at Lee and I would study Lee Haney and how he posed on the stage, not to just get off of overtraining, but you take what you read and you apply it to what works best for you. And the only way you can figure out what works best for you is to try it out. You know, hand grips, protein, what source of protein, how much rest. Like for me, I would get 10 hours of sleep a day. So I would do 8 at night. I would take 2-hour naps during the day. I found out that I needed to have that rest because the workload that I was putting on my body, you know, and how intense I was training out from shows, you know, 4 months out from shows, wherever. So it depends on where you are, what it is that you're actually trying to do. You know, so just listen to your body because it's going to tell you what it needs and when it needs it.
I know we'll forget after the 7th Olympic, man, I woke up about a couple of days after that show, my body was racked with pain. I didn't know what was happening, but number one, I'd never been 30 before. But all of a sudden, man, every joint was hurting. I felt fatigued. I wondered at that particular time, can I go on to the next Mr. Olympia competition? Because when you go year after year after year, Sean was saying, you know, look, you're being chased. You're on the top. There's nowhere to go but down. So you're always looking for the right formula in order to stay on top and stay ahead of the pack. That's not only physically stressful, that's mentally stressful. But I found that going into, like 2 or 3 months later, I mean, everything had subsided as far as the pain. I felt good. I've given my body, an ample amount of rest. But then I switched up my training system. Because generally the last 6 to 7 weeks before the show, I would go into a straight 6. Okay? Now, straight 6 is designed to rip you to pieces. However, it will tear your joints up. Also, that's the other thing. You got to be very careful of the straight 6. So and I use a 3-on-off one in all season. So instead of switching to the straight 6, which left me toe up, that the 7th Olympia, I stayed on the 3-on-off one. And guess what? My physique came in better. The legs never went away. Normally my legs, the weight would come in about a week and a half before the show. They were so fatigued. When the muscle is fatigued, it looks like rubber. And so that 3 on 1 gave me enough rest, gave me enough recovery. So my last Olympia was my best Olympia. I even said I finally learned how to be. I said that in my last Olympia because of overtraining.
1991. So the straight 6 is 6 days in a row, Monday through Saturday, and then you switch to a 3 on, 1 off. And that gave you the amount of rest that you needed. You weren't overtraining.
Yeah, sometimes more isn't good for you. You know, and a lot of guys get anxious when they get close to the shows and they get nervous. You know, they can't stay out of the gym. Overdoing too much cardio, and you know, your mind comes into play. Then you start playing tricks and games on you. So you have to be real careful to make sure that you are resting. And it's okay to take the days off, especially when you're pounding it real hard, so your body can heal. That's the purpose of training. You want to rip that muscle apart, and it has to heal up. So the only way it's going to heal is if you just take a day off. Sometimes I would take 2 days off. And if I went back in the gym, my legs felt like they were sore, I wouldn't train them. I would just leave them on the rest.
As it relates to competing, I learned in 1992, Kevin's first Olympia, that I was doing a lot of overtraining for that competition. And it was at that time that once the Olympia happened in September, I literally took from September to December to just readjust and be a normal person. I go to the gym, do a little bit of light weights and cardio, but I wasn't bodybuilding. My bodybuilding for me started in January to September. I needed 9 months to get ready for the Mr. Olympia. I didn't need 12 months. But I never did that on my way up the ranks. Once I got there, I realized that my recovery time was better when I took almost a 3-month break. That 3-month break was more fitness training and recreation, and I kind of could get my life in order because I wasn't so consumed with building and training for the Olympia. That started in January. And I used January to March to kind of get as much strength as I could. And March to June, started focusing in on actually getting prepared for the Olympia. And then from June to September, doing the business of dieting and training for the Olympia. So for me, that helped balance out the rest of my career. And I had that little off season after the show was over to kind of relax. Somebody will just jump right back in the gym and they never have that break. I know Kevin. You see Kevin walk around at about 215 pounds, like you said, and then boom, he's 247. I would think he wasn't even doing the Olympia when June came around. He's too small, there's no way, I got him, and boom. Second place, Kevin Rooney. So, I say second because we came up behind Haney and then Dorian and then Ronnie. I mean, those 3 guys are 22 Mr. Olympias in a row. 5'10", 260-pound plus bodybuilders. And I was trying to chop him down at the ankles, and Kevin was trying to take him out at the knees, and Flex was trying to sneak up. It just wasn't going to happen for us. We came up, I was born 5 years too late. If I had been 5 years earlier, I would have been battling out Samir Banu, who I'd look in the eye. And then here comes Haney to change the game.
Funny thing about what Sean just said was, I mean, Dorian Yates, he was tough to deal with, and you were the man. You know, you're one of the favorites, probably the greatest Mr. Olympia that ever stepped on stage, in my opinion. No doubt about it. He carried himself on the stage as a solid individual and a man. But yeah, we would be on stage, and it'd be time to pose down, and we would huddle up backstage to be like, all right, Sean, you know, you get in front of him. You're the shortest, so you get in front of Yates. I'm gonna go on the left side, and Flex, you get on the right side of him. We're just gonna pose until he just can't pose anymore. Flex would get pissed off because he get tired. He got mad at me because I would always do this, you know, because we were trying to do what we could do to just bring him down. He was a champion, but we were all over him. You know, it was a dogfight. You know, and that was the good parts about it. You know, and we knew we were fighting for second. But we also knew that we were going to put the pedal to the metal and do what we needed to do to try to take it down as a group, because we couldn't handle one-on-one. I remember another thing when I would do this on stage is I would like Dorian Yates would be here next to me, and I would ease up probably about 2 or 3 inches, you know, and hit my poses, you know, because the judges, they're looking at us, but it would look like when you see the photos come out that I was actually a little bit bigger than him. It was an illusion. I would do all kinds of things on stage, man, and try to just edge out this guy. I mean, Yates was 256, 260. You know, I'm giving up 10, 15, 12 pounds. Sean, maybe, what, 30 pounds? So we were all over him, man. And those are the good old days, definitely.
Yeah, of course, after Dorian Yates in 97 tore his bicep and retired for good, then came Ronnie Coleman in 1998 to win his first of 8 Elite years. I hung around for like 3 of those, and I said, I'm done. You hung around for a couple more years. And what year did you think you should have won the Mr. Olympia? Don't say 1994, because we'll do it right here.
I always thought that, you know, Sean, 2000, it rings out in my mind as probably one of the years that I felt like I had Ronnie, because he had the extended midsection at that time.
Go ahead and say good.
I want to say yes, so bad.
Don't tell Ronnie to say good. Please don't.
I think I said it in the car.
Don't say good.
But, you know,
It's extended now. Don't. That's a nice word.
Oh,
I did
man.
not say that. Gary
So,
said